What happens when the old rules of search begin to collapse and customers stop visiting your website altogether? It's kind of a strange moment that we all find ourselves in right now, especially as traffic can fall while sign-ups rise, and we're entering a period where an AI model becomes the most influential visitor to your content. So the big question is, how do you keep your brand visible when people are asking questions to an AI agent instead of browsing for results? This is a question I want to get into with my guest today. He's the co-founder of a company called Storyblok, spelled Storyblok. And he brings a front row view of how AI is rewriting content strategies. He will explain today why outdated pages are now a real risk, why LLMs scrape everything they can find, and why brands that leave old content untouched are essentially training AI to misrepresent them. It's a real wake-up call, this one, but also in a surprisingly practical way. Because Dominik will break down why headless content systems are no longer a niche choice. They provide a single source of truth that LLMs can scrape more accurately, and in doing so, help teams keep consistency across every channel and support a new discipline that he calls GEO, the rising counterpart to SEO. And he'll bring all that to life with examples on automation, intelligent recommendations, and a joyful content design that genuinely shifts how you might think about the future of CMS. So settle in for a conversation that blends curiosity with a bit of holiday season clarity. And as you listen today, ask yourself, how well would your content hold up if an AI model inspected each and every page that you've ever published? Before I bring today's guest on, a quick thank you to my friends over at Denodo, who are passionate about logical data management for AI success. Because let's be honest, AI is evolving fast. But the elephant in the room is initiatives are still failing. Not because the models aren't good, but because the data foundation isn't ready. That's why organizations are increasingly turning to Denodo and logical data management. Denodo unifies your data across every cloud and every system without the need for massive replication. So you can power trustworthy AI, accelerate lakehouse optimization, and build data products that make self-service real for every team. So CIOs, architects, business leaders each get exactly what they need and when they need it. And Denodo's partners also help you get value even faster. So if you're ready to make AI actually work, visit Denodo.com and put logical data management to work today. But now, let's get today's guest on. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Hi everyone, so my name is Dominik Angerer, one of the two founders of Storyblok, and we're a content management system, a so-called headless content management system. So we provide APIs for developers to build all kind of things, be it just a website or a native application, a virtual reality applications, or power the next AI content model or AI bot or AI agent, however you want to call it, with your content. So that's what we do, content management system for some of the largest brands in the world.
And you work in such an exciting space. And I think there'll be so many people listening, hearing about AI, and they've heard all the hype, but real practical measures of how AI could transform their content management or what features their business could be demanding to stay competitive in 2026, which is literally a couple of weeks away now. So I'm curious, from everything that you're seeing here, how is AI powering the next generation of content management systems, or CMS, from intelligent automation to advanced content personalization? What are you seeing here? What excites you?
So the number one exciting thing for me is the whole potential for automation, for sure. I mean, we also have launched something called Storyblok Flow Motion that will be generally available next year for basically everybody. It's based on n8n. So if you want to use something similar right now, n8n, an amazing automation and AI agent orchestration platform. It's quite a mouthful, but at the same time, what it means is you have different nodes that you can visually connect, and you have an AI agent take up small tasks in between. So you have best of both worlds. You can either fully do magic, which most of us experience with AI, or you can have it do a little bit more predictable kind of tasks that you apply to it. And now having that companion in your own content management system, it's just amazing. So that's what we did with Flomotion. You have the full power of end-to-end directly within Storyblok going forward as well. And I believe that's going to be quite interesting because it's not about creating more content and more and more and more content. It's about creating better content, high quality content. And that will change because right now, AI is actually destroying a little bit of the content space. Why? For the last, I'm 31 now, but for the last 20 years, everybody tried to go towards being number one at Google. That's the number one spot everybody wanted to do. And we've seen some studies that not just traffic declined by 15%, but also about 58% of all Google searches are resulting in no clicks whatsoever because of the AI overviews and all the different things that are now happening. And that means that the customers that create content, they have a completely different challenge right now versus like a year ago or 2 years ago because of the customer behavior actually changing. They are not clicking for search results. They are just getting a generated answer. So suddenly it's not, oh, how can I be just the number one in Google? It's also about how can I get mentioned with the actual right content by all those answer engines, be it like in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, or Google Summary. And that's the interesting part because on one hand, we can use AI to generate content and make it more brand aware. Like we have an AI branding feature that allows you to stay on brand once you explain of like who you are, which tone you want to use and how you want to be perceived. But at the same time, it's a world right now where consistency of content suddenly matters. And funny enough, I mentioned we are a headless content management system. The reason we built Storyblok as a headless content management system where we remove the display layer from the actual content hasn't been because of AI. We have done that 8 years ago. But the reason is to get you consistency across different platforms. So you manage your content once in just Storyblok essentially as your content hub. And then you use the same content in your application, on a screen in your digital signage, on your website, in your intranet, even share it with third-party publications or similar if they want to have access to it. But it's one system that powers those through APIs. And the result of that headless approach is that it's consistent. And turns out LLMs are statistical models, right? So to rank higher, the easiest thing for you to do is to appear consistent because then the statistical relevance is higher. And it's so interesting because now we see both sides of AI. On the one hand, it's enabling you to do more and stay more consistent and create better content faster. On the other hand, you're fighting against whatever it tells people about you. So it's a really nice twist of both the directions right now.
There's so many great points, and we're recording this right in the heart of the holiday season. And I suspect everybody listening here are going to be searching for gifts. And in the old way, as you said, you'd be searching for a particular item or trying to brainstorm ideas, and you'd end up with a page one of Google full of sponsored results that are completely irrelevant and of no use. But companies have paid a lot of money to be on that front page of Google. But this holiday season, even though it'll be busier than ever, people are going elsewhere. Instead of searching for information, they're asking questions about things they want. They might be able to ask for personalized gifts, for example, on something like ChatGPT or Claude or Google Gemini or whichever one that they use. So is this something that you're seeing in your own behavior, in the behavior of your customers? And are they asking you for help with this stuff? Is that penny starting to drop that the old way is slowly dying or evolving into something else?
Yeah, the buyer's journey is completely changing. I mean, we see it on our own software as well. Yeah. Even software. It's not just products, it's everywhere. Because funny enough, we have more signups to Storyblok than ever and active users with that as well. But at the same time, the traffic on our websites declined. And the reason for that is quite simple. And it's actually a little bit scary, but at the same time, it's actually simple. Because what happens is that people are trying to find answers of what to use for certain uses, use cases. So I want to build an intranet. Yeah. In the past, people tried to find different search results. They tried to find those results on Google. They opened the first free websites and tried to scan through them, see if it fits their needs or not. Maybe go for the 4th, 5th, 6th page as well and make their own immediate conclusion. Okay, let's do that. So they visited the website. What we can see now already, right now, is that many of developers that start trying to play around with a new CMS, they go into ChatGPT or Perplexity or in Claude and literally write in, here, I want to build a website multilingual with Vue.js or React or any kind of technology. What's your recommendation? And then there's a list of free. Oh yeah, create me an account for Storyblok, or literally just click on a button that opens app.storyblok.com, which is not a website but our application. And suddenly they skip our complete website. They've never visited the website, but they register and work on the system because they just want to try something, and then they experience it and like it, usually, at least with our system. And suddenly the website is not the main entry point anymore, but it's just this like information holder for AI. And that's the interesting part, because the same thing can also be really negative, because if you're not in the recommendation, or if you're not in the result of that answer that is given to the potential customer, or the answer is wrong because you have outdated content. For example, if you want to buy a car and the car has different prices over the years and it has changed. If you have your price lists online for the last 10 years and no exact dates associated to the price, I can guarantee you that whatever is going to be pushed out to any customers of, like, say, the car, it will be not the price you currently have. It will be a random hallucination from any price that might have been there in the last 10 years, if it has changed so much. And that's the scary part, where the answer suddenly is important because customers are searching for answers and not results. That is the change that we're seeing now. They are going in, expect an answer. Oh, that's good enough, and leave. I mean, you have done it. I've done it. We put it into Google. Hey, good restaurants in Linz, where I'm from. And usually I would go for maps and just scroll through the 5-star, 4-star ratings. Now I get a recommendation already summarized with my profile somewhat included in Google. I'm like, yeah, the first one sounds good. And I'll just click on it and walk there. Suddenly this AI summary removed my need to go to the maps of Google, right? I literally just got the one recommendation right there without needing to search for results. And that's really cool, actually.
It really is. And I suspect there's light bulb moments going off all around the world as some business leaders are listening to this conversation, and words like the website is no longer the first entry point. And elsewhere, I've heard the phrase SEO is dead, which I think is a little exaggerated because I think it's just evolved. But taking that topic there, the SEO, for people that have invested thousands in SEO to get on the front page of Google, what should they be doing now to be more visible on these AI platforms?
Yeah, so I was a little bit nasty with saying like websites are going to not be the first. The real thing is the persona is no longer just a marketer or a developer or a human of this and that. By now, it's also an AI scraper. It's also an AI agent. It's also an AI bot. So the website that you present there, or actually the content that you put out there, website or not, any content you put out there right now is being used to train those AI models. So your content that you put out there, and therefore also your website, is still super relevant. It's still the gateway to get answered or be included in the answer of those AI LLMs, essentially. And the really interesting thing that I can see right now in terms of SEO and GEO and what people are changing, we do the same process that we did for Google. Now again, we try to establish a baseline. There are amazing tools like Otterly AI and similar out there where you can like establish a baseline of certain prompts. And if you get actually the brand awareness that you want to have, it's like an analytics tool for prompts. Right? And if you get like mentioned in the answers, makes sense. We did the same for like Google Analytics and search and similar. So SEMrush, great example. And that's what we have done all the time. And then we started to optimize. And then we try to put things on top. And here's the cool thing. If you're already optimized for SEO, and I'm not talking about I need to put in as many keywords as possible SEO. I'm talking about also the technical SEO, speed of the website, above the fold optimization, proper structured content in terms of HTML and structure behind that, proper formats, established loading times, optimized images, alternative text of images, and all those like technical aspects. Suddenly your content is worth something. it has value. And I believe the content that you have and the content you put out there is actually now being lifted to the same importance of your corporate CRM data, like actually custom like content and data that you have in the company. And that means everything you have now put into SEO, continue doing that, because right now, all those optimizations you have done for SEO most likely also work for geo. And I say most likely because the way I see it from a pure technical point of view, if your website is faster, better structured, way better optimized in terms of above the fold, below the fold, meaningful information, non-meaningful information, and has a proper structure overall, first of all, it's cheaper for all the LLMs providers to scrape because it's faster. That means it's smaller. That saves money for them, which is nice for them. If it saves money, usually you get something for it. If it's better structured, the LLM can way easier be trained on the structured content, and the information will be, outputted more accurately again, or quoted more accurate. And if you're able to also add context to your images for accessibility reasons, that's why you should do it. Those images suddenly also have a proper meaning for the LLMs. So you actually do a lot of amazing things if you optimize for SEO on a technical point of view for geo as well, because it goes hand in hand. Better content, faster site, it just saves money for the LLMs and gives better content. What not to like? If I would be an LLM provider, I would scrape that site way more often because it's way cheaper for me to do that.
So many great points there again. And I'm curious, from all the conversations with people you're having all around the world, are there any trends in the kind of things that businesses are asking for help with, whether it be, I don't know, seamless integration, visual editing, collaborative workflows that power both technical and creative teams, or is it something else? What are people mostly asking for help with at the moment when they come to your door?
Yeah, so right now they have a lot of fear around like the changing landscape of AI and where people are going for answers, where people are going for sites because traffic is declining, but signups are there and conversion rates are actually better. And it's like a real interesting mess right now. It's for many, it's a black box. And that's when they come to us because, hey, we are a content management system. You need to work with companies that most likely have the same problems that I do, right? So that's when they come to us. I'm like, yeah, actually, yes. The cool thing is most of our customers started like 2 years ago and already worked on solutions. So they realized there will be a new source or new, not source, but a new channel that they can send or that pulls content. So for them, the immediate reaction was, okay, I need to go headless because I need the consistency around different aspects or different channels. I need to have it the same way on the website than I do have on my blog, on my internet, and everywhere that is potentially crawlable as well. Then the second thing that our customers realized really early on is, I need to make sure that I don't redo my own work. So I should not duplicate my content. And if I do, I need to throw out the old content and keep it clean. That's what most of our customers want to do and already do. Why? Because they realize if they have less content that is more meaningful, they drive more revenue through less pages that they need to maintain. So a thing that I can tell to all the customers out there right now, potential like users of a CMS, not even just relevant for Storyblok, but if you're using a CMS right now, and most likely you're using 2 to 3 CMSs based on our latest report there, clean them up. If you have content in there that you don't know that it's published, remove it. And I can tell you that 99% of people out there and business out there have content out there that they are ashamed of, content that they don't even know exists, content that is factually wrong and doesn't even like match their current brand. And doesn't mean you need to delete it, but it does mean you need to look at it. You need to be aware of it because what has changed drastically now, and that's what we are explaining to our potential customers coming to us, that the content that you created a couple of years ago at Google, it just got downranked and forgotten about it. LLMs are getting trained on their old, outdated content, so it actively hurts you. And that's how we help them now. So we help them with a proper migration guide. We have a step-by-step guide of 10 points on how you do proper migration from the old content world of a monolith into like a headless motion in a proper way, how you like really step-by-step guide you through what you need to do and which steps are more important. Is it more important to clean content up or to migrate it? Is it more important to do content modeling first, or is it more important to create assets? And those questions is answered in our complete step-by-step guide, essentially, on migration. And that is completely generic for all different tools out there, whatever you're using. Once you have done that migration, which sounds fearful in the beginning, but at the same time, it's housekeeping and you need to do it. Otherwise it hurts you anyway. At the same time, you suddenly have the possibilities to build new tools, build new websites, build new apps with high quality content. So suddenly you're starting from a way better baseline than you had before. And then you can start optimizing. Then you can do the technical SEO aspects. Then you can optimize for content that you want to actually be found with or answered or quoted by. And that's when you then start to engineer content rather than to just write content. And that's the interesting twist that we can see now, that people are beginning to be way more confident in the content once they're using headless content management system. And that's the thing that we help them solve. And yes, we do have an amazing automation tool. We have an AI orchestration tool. We have an MCP server that can be used. We have all those shenanigans. But the most important thing is to get the foundation right. And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear, but in software engineering, there's a term called shit in, shit out.
Yeah.
So if you produce a lot of bad garbage content, and somebody has done that in the past for sure, because that's how we all exist in this world. We all have done that. I know my blog articles from 2018, and I'm really lucky that my team updates those by now. But I can tell you that stuff would hurt you if nobody ever retouched it and optimized it or deleted it or redirected it. And yeah, if they don't get the foundation right, there's nothing we can help with. But the foundation is something, if you migrate to Storyblok, you have an amazing foundation to get started with.
Wow. And again, so many big takeaways. I just think it's fascinating what you're doing here. And we are at that magical time of year where people are looking towards 2026 thinking, what am I going to be doing different? And listening to you now, I'm just thinking the message is clear. Start that housekeeping on your website at the beginning of the year and start getting ready for this, But I mean, there will be a lot of people that are starting to be woken up by this, but how are more forward-thinking companies? How are they already preparing for the next wave of content delivery across so many emerging platforms? What are they doing right? Are there any stories that you can share of companies that just seem to get it? You don't have to mention any names, but any examples there?
Yeah. So one company, and I'm not mentioning name, but I know if they're listening to this, they know who I mean. They're using Storyblok already now for all the major sites that they have, but also for the knowledge base. And here's the cool thing: what they have started doing is they have not just used it for like a documentation and internal knowledge base, but they've now hooked up that foundation content, because we have those APIs, to an LLM and to an AI agent, and combined it with Zendesk. So they have combined Storyblok with the Zendesk instance. And what they did is they used the knowledge base as the source of truth for the agent. And now every time a customer support ticket comes in, that agent immediately goes back to the knowledge base, tries to find the proper answer, formulates an answer based on the question that was raised, and prompts it to the first level support to then say, oh yeah, I like it. Oh, I don't like it. And suddenly you have an immediate time saver based on your actual content. And it saves you hours every day, because the answer is literally in seconds, but there's still a human in the loop that controls, okay, yeah, makes sense. I would write it the same way, and pushes it out. And suddenly the content that you usually just had locked up in your documentation or internal knowledge base, it suddenly gets used because it's API based, because it's headless, and because you can hook it up to an AI agent. And we are now seeing another one that is doing really interesting, loyalty kind of areas in their sites. So think of a large retailer that has a lot of information of things that you purchased from them. And usually the recommendations are not that nice, as you might know. So if you purchase, for example, a fridge, and I've done that a couple of months ago, you will end up with a lot of fridges being recommended to you right after you purchased it. And I guarantee you, I will not buy a fridge in the next couple of years because I just bought one. So this is first, completely wasted money. Second, wrong recommendation. Third, definitely not personalized, but not in a good way. And there are options. Once you have your content sorted in a proper way and structured in a proper way, you can use something like a vector database or Storyblok Strata, which is another like product that we're launching next year. We had already a big announcement around it a couple of weeks ago. And what it does, it vectorizes like the content that you have. And by vectorization, it helps you also to reuse the same content in a different way. What that means is that suddenly you can do a semantic search on your content. So if I know my history of purchases of I bought a fridge, I bought this, I bought this, I bought this, I bought this, suddenly I could do, hey, this customer has purchased those things. Give me something that is relevant for those data points. And then something like a vector database or Storyblok Strata can return you results of things that are similar or semantically relevant for exactly that profile. And then you can display it. And suddenly the recommendation is no longer fridge, but maybe it's a different tray for that fridge, or maybe it's a fridge sorting kind of thing, or maybe it's something completely different. Because if you're remodeling your fridge, maybe after 2 weeks you hate your sink. Maybe you want to redo your sink, and suddenly it gets way more personal. And maybe it's just magnets on the fridge itself. It's like there's so much potential. And now I'm used to retail, but now imagine the same thing for let's say a football club. You have your most favorite like player. Maybe you have your most favorite kind of location where they play, and there's a lot of content on those sites, but maybe there's like recommendations of what you need to know, like content pieces that you should know, that you get access to in a signed-in version of like their start site that is customized perfectly onto your semantically relevant content. And we've seen that now already happening. People are doing that right now. They have the content in Storyblok, have the AI agent or the AI probability and semantic search built in, and then literally just consume that content and display it for the users in those signed-in areas. And that's personalization at scale. Like that's individualized for this one human. And suddenly it actually is really nice. And it's not just a, hey, first name, brackets open, closed. However, it's an actual like relevant piece of content for them. And I mean, there are so many opportunities, and I just mentioned 2 use cases, but the reality is you can hook it up to anything, and you can have a complete like chatbot experience and replace literally anything. It's really cool.
Incredibly cool. And when I was doing a little research on you before you came on the podcast, I was also reading about another concept that you're incredibly passionate about is joyful content. Now, we've all done enough doom scrolling in our time to know what not to look out for, but joyful content, walk me through that.
Yeah, so we're always thinking about how a content management system can be fun, can make sense to marketers and developers alike. And we realized that even though like with Storyblok, you have more flexibility, you're more efficient because of the workflows, you're more stable, it gets things done faster because of how we build it, because we built the UI for marketers and we built the API and the whole technical part for developers. I'm a software engineer that turned CEO, which is a weird combination, but at the same time, it's actually really helpful because I understand both sides by now. And I realized that actually what I want for people to like arrive to in Storyblok is something that we call joyful headless. And the result of joyful headless is joyful content. So the idea is that if creating content and managing content is actually fun and not like putting content into a graveyard, because that's the reality of most content management systems in the past. If that is actually way more fun, where you can hook it up with different third-party tools, you're composable, you can literally combine it with your most favorite tools. And also the tool itself is well designed, is properly handled, thinks about how the usability actually itself is, does proper testing, adds features that are demanded by customers. Sounds like logical things, but turns out it's not that logical. Those are things that people get excited about. And I want our marketers and the marketers of our customers to start on a Monday morning, not with, oh God, it's work again. If they open Storyblok, it's like, I know exactly where I left off on Friday and I get this done today with a smile on their face. Like that's the whole idea. And I believe if we can get this human aspect of joy back into what we do on a daily basis, they will create way better content, because at the end, you don't want to read something from somebody that actually hates what the person is doing. You want to read content and you want to consume content, be it doom scrolling or be it on a proper article or even a podcast, people actually enjoy what they're doing. And I want to help at least a little bit to bring that back, because Alexander and my co-founder and I, we've been in so many CMSs in our life by now because we worked at agencies before. We helped some of the largest brands out there. We built the B2B, B2C stores and all of that. And it was never a pleasant experience. Not even one.
Yeah.
And this has changed with Storyblok now. Like, our customers love us. We have basically no churn. You can literally ask any customers at Storyblok if they like it. And it's usually a big yes.
So the website is storyblok.com, block spelled BLOK. I will put a link on the show notes for everybody to check out. And for anybody listening at the moment, they're going to type in storyblok.com. They're at the site. What can they expect? Walk them through what they should be doing as soon as they arrive to get the feel and what it can do for them. What would you advise?
Yeah. I recommend try it out. It's free to try out. So click the button and try it for free. Then you can choose your joyride. Then you can choose basically your onboarding scenario, either for marketer or for developer. And then you will navigate it through a demo as well. So just try it. If you like it, if you have a problem with content right now, it's your choice to fix it now or just wait another month. I would recommend to do it now because, to be honest, in a month, your competitor most likely has done it already. So it's easy to get started. Try it out. It's really nice.
Oh, wow. Well, you've certainly got a new person here. I'm going to be checking that out. I can promise you that. And I would also invite everyone listening to check it out. And also let me know, what do you think? What did you like? What have you took away from today's conversation? I think there's so many big talking points there. But Dominik, more than anything, thank you for shining a light on this, such an important conversation. And hopefully we'll be sending a few people your way. But thank you for starting today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think there's something quite refreshing about Dominik's take on content today, because he made it clear that the shift is not about fear. It's about getting your house in order, a little spring clean, if you will, so you can compete in a world where AI is your customer's first point of contact, not your website. And the message that stayed with me most is how outdated content can actually become a liability. A single old page can ripple through every AI summary that mentions your brand, and that alone should change your priority list for 2026. And also thank him for exploring how forward-thinking companies are already using headless platforms to clean up their legacy content, support AI agents, and deliver more relevant recommendations. And these examples around customer support, automation, and personalized retail experiences, I think collectively show what becomes possible when your content is structured better. But I'd love to hear what today's episode sparked for you. Did Dominik's point about websites becoming data sources surprise you? Does GEO make sense as you take the next step for SEO? And what are you planning to tackle first in your own content stack in 2026? Please share your thoughts with me, what stood out and what you would like us to explore next. As always, techtalksnetwork.com. You'll find over 3,500 interviews there. Send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. But that's it for today. So thank you as always, and I'll speak with you all again very soon.